So Mike threw his back out, and Mom is in the studio but can't turn her camera on or get her mic working. So me, Jamie, and our sister Brooke decided that we were going to take over the podcast while Mom had to listen in torture as we berate her and make fun of her for not being able to turn on her phone camera for the podcast. So you guys get all of this, right?
Yes. Well, we literally have been trying for an hour now to explain it to her.
At least, yeah.
Trying to get her to understand how to take a screenshot.
That was funny. Mom just said that we're liars.
You were liars.
But we are not liars. We are telling the truth. But anyway, so we're going to take over the podcast. So we're going to talk about some stuff. We're going to talk about people who can't operate their phones properly. And we're going to talk about PK kid etiquette a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we got some stories as far as being preachers' kids and growing up on the road. And so let's just be honest. I don't know if you guys have noticed this in some of the churches that you guys have been to. But I've noticed that evangelists, and I even talked to Cole Barnett about this a little bit. Evangelists don't do revivals hardcore like we used to do.
Not like we used to.
Really?
You know,
I've noticed most revivals nowadays that I've seen from like the C.T. Townsend ones are like, they just go from like Sunday to Wednesday.
Yeah, it's like
no,
3-4 days,
Sunday night,
right?
Sunday night to Friday night.
Yes,
typically.
every day. And then Saturday was our travel day, and we were back at it again on Sunday.
Or
if we didn't have get there Saturday and have something that the church was throwing for us on that Saturday.
Or the missions conferences where they're like every morning and evening.
So
we wouldn't get to do schoolwork or do anything because we were expected to be there singing and.
So what we're saying is, you new folks, we did it when it was hard.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
When it was difficult. So
I just noticed I'm like fixing my glasses.
Yep.
I got one hand.
Yeah.
This is not a mirror book.
But yeah, so what are some of the things that you guys remember as far as things that people said to you at churches? We'll just start there. Like things that where like they think that they're being kind and gracious and decent human beings, but it was like, what's the word that the young people use today? Cringe.
Oh, there's a lot of that.
What's the first
I don't know. I don't try to say the words the young people say nowadays because I'm not very cool anymore.
You're old. And so what was it like, James? What was the big thing that you like, the first thing that comes to your mind?
I had a pastor's wife one time pull me aside. I think I was like 12.
I remember that.
And this was good because it literally, we had known some people that had this done and they had their kids taken away from them. So this was something fresh in my mind. Mom and Dad had just talked to us about. Anyway, she pulled me aside at a mission conference and she wanted to interview me and started to ask me all these personal questions. Do Mom and Dad spank me? All kinds of like crazy things about our discipline. And I was like, this is really inappropriate questioning. And I mean, I had the foresight to know at 12 years old that, I don't think that you should be asking me these questions and I'm not going to answer that right now, and Mom came out of nowhere. And you know how Mom was always very polite to people. Let's not, we don't show air our dirty laundry, and we definitely don't show that we're normal, but Mom I thought Mom was going to like rip this lady's hair out. She told her off right there in front of everybody. And everybody pretty much was like, yeah, you were wrong, lady.
Yeah.
No,
Mom
it's definitely not
Mom's confrontational person. Like I am.
But that's like one of the biggest things that stuck out to me, because I was like, what were you going to do with that information too? Like, what was your end goal to sit here and ask me all these questions?
Yeah.
What about, Brooke? So let's switch this to you. What about like meals?
Meals
that you had to eat because you're at someone else's house and it's impolite not to eat everything that's on your plate, even
I
though
still struggle
you
with that
know
one.
where they cooked it.
Well, let's just be real, because I'm kind of picky eater, and I will eat anything, but I have a hard time not gagging
Mhm.
at certain foods because texture. But let me tell you, cabbage. Who makes cabbage
Oh, I love cabbage.
for then whatever. But
Love
for a
But I
cabbage.
little,
don't think I really cared for it when I was little. But
when
I
you
do
have a
now.
No.
pastor's family over, make like comfort food or something, like get chicken and mashed potatoes or like something easy. But no, these people are like, I want to make my fanciest meal that
And folks, I'm
little
just letting you
kids are
know
not going to want to eat.
what you think is the fancy meal.
Or
It's not fancy.
people, you go to people's houses
Or
and
they would hear that we didn't like something, and they will, well,
you haven't
you've
tried
never
mine.
had mine. You haven't tried mine.
That was
Shoe
usually,
fly pie. Do you guys remember that?
yes, yeah.
Dad was like, Dad would preach this, like, I don't like shoe fly pie. And this lady, oh, you just don't, you've never had mine. Every single time, that shoe fly pie ended up in the garbage
Still
can.
gross.
Every time.
Still gross.
Don't last long around our house.
Right? Yeah.
I think the hardest thing for me as a preacher's kid was when we would go to a new church on Sunday mornings and we'd have to separate from our parents or siblings. Like you
Mhm.
two, most of the time could be together. I was a little younger, so I'd end up in a Sunday school room by myself, and
I hated.
I was like
I don't know. I hated Sunday
I
school
would be
when we were
physically
traveling.
sick because I had anxiety, and so I'd go in this room by myself with all these people I didn't know, and they would be like, "Why
And
don't you
that's one
stand?"
thing people don't understand
Yeah.
for like evangelists and missionaries kids is that you don't like, oh, it's no big deal. Like there's all kinds of kids, but we are having to go to a new church
Yeah.
every single week and meet new people
Well,
every single week. And when you're shy and backward, it gives you terrible anxiety. And then you have to
And
pretend
Jamie's
like, oh,
definitely
I'm fine.
backwards. No, I'm just saying. So
No,
I never really had that problem.
man.
I
Oh,
think
they would make me stand up and they'd say, "Why don't you stand
yeah.
up and say something about yourself?" Or they would ask me to pray or to speak, and I'm like a 10-year-old girl, and I'm like, like all just turning like all shades
Yeah.
of colors and wanting to throw up and just being so sick. And I would
Try actually
cry.
throwing up.
I would cry to mom, be like, "Please don't make me go to Sunday school. Please don't make me go to Sunday school." But we didn't want to offend people,
Yeah.
so we would go.
No,
I would.
like I never really had that issue. So like I think for me it was where the anxiety was. It was more on mom's part because
Yeah, because you would have them come to mom saying, well, you corrected the teacher during Sunday
well,
school because you said that's not what the Bible says.
the Bible says to call out false prophets. So I'm just saying,
Which honestly, I can see Ziggy doing. I can see Ziggy doing that.
Sophia.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah. So like we just had VBS at church, right? They did a Bible trivia game in her class. It was girls against boys, and the girls won, and the boys started crying out that the girls cheated and whatnot. And Fia's response to that was like, "Well, I just read my Bible more than you do." So yeah.
That's better than my daughter. She says,
She's
"I'm a
very.
Christian. Why do I need to read my Bible?"
Who says that?
Rory, she's already a Christian.
Rory.
Why do you need to read it?
So like, what about embarrassing moments, Jamie? You've already led into one, and I know you've already talked about it on this one.
Yeah,
but
throwing up all over an entire
Donnie
church.
Noble for the longest time.
Lifeline Baptist Church. Yeah, called me Black.
Just introduced her as Blat. Here you go, Chris, Becky, and Blat. Right.
And
so
throwing up all over the man in the front row, Randy Barron.
Yeah,
right.
Super.
And he didn't
kindly
say a word.
sat there and didn't say a word about it.
Nothing. Just
he did not want to embarrass me.
With Jamie's vomit all over his pants and shoes.
Can you be that kind to somebody? I wouldn't be. I couldn't be. I would be like, I want to do it too.
No, I can't. Right. So no. What about
then she
you,
went
Brooke?
to Taco Bell.
What about you? Oh yeah.
I feel like
What about
Jamie
Brooke's
has the
sisters?
majority of the embarrassing stories. Like when she got sick and the pastor wanted her to sing from the balcony in a bed.
From the balcony.
Oh my, yeah.
I think that was also the demons and the Mike pastor.
Yes.
Yeah. He's also the one that gave us as a gift the salt.
The Carrie salt.
Because the brand name was Carrie, so he thought that was, He's like, I thought about you, brother. I'm like, thanks, but don't.
Thank you.
Right?
Yeah, he was special. He kind of, I feel like I remember pulling up to that church and we had a TV in our vehicle.
Yeah.
And he had a fit about our TV. And I was like,
Well,
this guy makes Dad get rid of our TV. And we can't watch Indiana Jones on our trips anymore. I'm going to be mad.
what about the one that got mad at Dad for the drums in the tape that we made?
We had drums on our
Oh
tape?
yeah, he said when you guys sing, he's like, make sure that it's not like your tape, because we don't allow drums. And Dad's like, there wasn't any drums on our tape. Like we specifically didn't have drums in our tape for that reason.
You know, that was a pretty wild tape.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we were rocking it out
My
back in the
father
early
has a
90s with my flat top
Yeah.
haircut.
Wesley trying. That was when Wesley tried to do his little, and you can't tell it as much, but like I know it's there because I remember when he did it, because we were like so embarrassed. Wesley, what are you doing? He's like, you never favored me above the rest.
Right.
Like I don't know what you were trying, but
he was working on his
but it was captured. It was captured on tape.
It was immortalized, actually. So.
But when I go back and listen to it, I think He Loves Me Like I Was. No, not that one, but what is the other one? God Hath Provided Himself.
Well,
if you listen to the second verse, I'm totally singing the words wrong.
Oh, really?
Which one?
God Hath Provided Himself a Lamb. I don't even know what it is, but it was like 8 or 9 years old, and it was definitely the wrong words.
Nobody caught it. Interesting.
Nobody caught it.
You still have
because I think it said I just didn't really know. Papa has it.
Yeah,
oh man, I haven't heard those in years.
We were so good that we on a recording tape that we sold to other people
with our little
get the words
chipmunk
wrong,
voices,
and nobody
says anything.
Sing what we want. You know what? I think there was a few songs we did sing all the time that we just kind of made up the words because we didn't know.
Dad did, for sure.
Well, I know we did too. There's a few songs that we three sang together that I'm like, I don't think we know the words, but it sounded like, I think we changed it enough that nobody was really noticing it, or maybe they were and they just.
I'm gonna apologize right now if I'm loud.
You're very.
Mom told me.
Mom told me
she couldn't hear me before, and I have no control over what it is. Like I can't control the volume. And all Mom is chatting is, tell Jamie to turn her mic down. She's so loud.
But so, all right, let me ask you this.
We're not telling that story.
Favorite
what
people.
story is she wanting to tell?
She said, Carrie Kid Fan Club's my favorite story, so we're not telling that story.
No, we're not telling that story.
That's lame.
Favorite people that we knew growing up.
Favorite people?
Like whether they're friends, whether they're like
in the thick of it with us.
We knew.
In the thick of it with us, we had
Shorty and May.
Oh,
Shorty and May Whitman.
Oh, you nasty boy.
Nasty.
Listen.
Or when she told us how to give yourself a tattoo.
Right, that was my embarrassing moment, not the tattoo.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I forgot about that.
I don't even know what I was what they were sending me up there to do. Right.
You had to give something to her. They asked Mom to borrow something, and Mom sent you over there to give it to her, and you knocked on the door, and she wasn't thinking, and she's like, I think I traumatized your son.
So, folks,
are you traumatized?
They were staying in their trailer behind the church where we were at. We were doing a Jubilee. Their AC went out, right? They didn't think anybody was there. So Shorty and May, this older couple that we've known.
They were in their trailer.
They were shorter than us, and we're pretty short.
That's why I said they're campers, right? And so the AC went out, so it was in their trailer, and that's their home, right? But their door was open with just the screen door shut, right? And I came walking up to drop.
No, you did. You knocked on it, and she said, "Come in." Because she said, "I just wasn't thinking."
No. The door was open. The screen door was open, or was closed. It was just a screen door, and I walk up, and then there she is, sitting on the couch, just in her civvies. And
she was wearing a long slip.
Yeah,
I don't think it was long enough, Jamie.
It wasn't long, James. It wasn't long. Sorry,
not long enough.
That's not what she was wearing.
Jamie wasn't there.
Trust me, it's It's burned into my
It's
memory. All right?
embedded in your memory.
Of all the things that I will always remember, unfortunately, that is one of them, right? It's seared. So, but yeah, so that was my
She said Wesley just like closed his eyes and handed her the thing. Was like, here you go, and then he like ran off.
I just heard Shorty laughing. That's all I remember as I was running off.
That's
was
funny.
Shorty laughing. But
so that was Wesley's most embarrassing.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty traumatizing. So
yeah,
I would
feel
say
we've all
like
had many.
so Shorty and May, right? Who else?
Mhm.
Brooke, who were your like favorite people
Like-
that we were around?
Oh, favorite all time people. I have a lot of favorites. I would say the Peters. That's probably my best
Down in
memories growing
Amherst.
up.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
where the Shorty
Yeah,
and May incident happened. Was
yeah,
at their
going
church.
to
Yeah, I enjoyed going there every time.
Staying with
Yep.
Amy and Liz and all them.
Yep.
That was a lot of fun for me. Anytime you were with the cruises, I would say the Barnetts, but it makes me laugh because Wes and Cole were like a married couple
You're-
because they
Like
stood by
polar opposites.
argue all the time.
all the time.
They
I'm
would argue all the
surprised-
time, and me and
Jamie
Corey would be
Yeah.
like, "You guys need to stop it right now."
Right. And yet now we have a podcast where we get along so well, right?
That's so funny. You're like a married couple.
Right.
Anywhere the cruises were,
Yep.
there's so
The
many.
Caricos.
The Caricos. yeah.
Yep.
No fries camp.
Noah Fries was fun.
That
Noah
was a
Fries
lot of fun growing
going
up.
going in the creek with the willow tree.
Do you remember John Goodman falling down the stairs?
No.
No.
Okay, so we were at. You remember that house we used to stay in Manio?
Yes.
The Meekins, I think was their name.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
And you know that when you went into their kitchen and there was that, you walked up the stairs and that's what the rooms that we would stay in.
Right.
And John was just like standing up there and he started to walk down and he just like slid all the way down the steps.
No. I just remember being in the big
And did
hurricane.
everybody go, "Oh, John, are you okay?" No, everyone was like,
We were
"What?"
dying. Yeah.
No, I remember the hurricane.
Yeah.
All of us traveling
the
together with
hurricane,
that.
Yeah.
And Uncle Mike, I think, might have been with us.
He was.
Yeah, he was, because that's him and
yeah.
Lily
And everybody.
Cron and her
Bradley.
husband Barry, they all went down to the beach.
Can we
Yep,
tell
and got
Michael's
sandblasted.
embarrassing stories?
I'm surprised Mike still
We
has
can tell whatever
skin.
we want about Mike.
Yeah.
We could
Yeah.
tell about Michael's Manio story.
I'm enjoying.
He's not here. He's not here to defend himself.
He told like a watered down version of that.
Michael did?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Like it was a watered down version of that. But he did tell it. So but the Meekins, they were probably some of my favorite people, the Meekins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I really enjoyed them. They had a really cool house.
Yeah, they had a really cool house, a big house, and they would have everybody, all the missionaries stay in their house, and then they would just go get a motel, and so everybody could fellowship together. It was like one of our favorite places to go.
I remember that room that us three stayed in, and they had like a TV up there, and we watched like the original
Christmas trees in every room.
And,
yep. Yeah, the original Chronicles of Narnia videos.
Yes, with ones that most people when I mention it are like, what? Like,
oh yeah, and they were like corny and whatnot, but they were the originals.
Yeah, the original ones. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like people that don't know that. I'm Michael
Salty,
Cable.
the songbook.
Did you know
Gerbert?
Did you know
Gerbert?
You didn't know Gerbert.
Yes.
Did you know Gumby at least, or Davy and Goliath? No, they didn't know that.
McGee and me. Do you guys remember the first pastor at First Baptist Church in Boyne City?
Yes.
If I heard the name, maybe
Nixon, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was shorter than Mom.
Yeah.
Right, like he was a little bitty
Mom's
dude.
like 4'11", 4'10", right?
But she'll tell you she's 5 foot.
Not 5 foot. I'm 5 foot, and I'm taller than both of you.
And she can't argue right now because she can't access her camera
What is she
or
saying?
her microphone.
Yeah.
So
sorry, Mom.
sorry. She just left.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like he's the one that introduced me to McGee and me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember we had like all the videos. I think Salty was my favorite though. Salty was
pretty good. I think McGee and me was my favorite, right?
Until
Although,
later
now that I think of that,
when Bible Man came out.
Bible Man.
They've got a cartoon version of that now that the kids have watched, and it's it's just as boring. It is. It's just. I'm not gonna lie. It's just as boring as.
I have tried to show my kids things that I watched when I was little. I'm like, you guys will love this, and they're always like, I'm like, never mind.
So I've tried to watch. So I've shown them GI Joes, Brave Star.
Don't know what that is.
Brave Star was my cartoon. That was my thing, right? He was the space cowboy with the horse that talked, with the robot horse that talked. You guys don't remember this because it was a boy's.
It was a boy cartoon.
Yeah, and then
I came on the same time Gem and the Holograms came on.
Yeah, that's what we liked.
I think it came on before, actually. And then you had Silverhawks and Transformers, and you had what was the other one that I was thinking of? Thundercats, right?
Yeah,
Thundercats and He-Man.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're all about the new He-Man.
Oh no.
On Netflix, which is just, I mean, come on. And then Thundercats, they like Thundercats. But I showed them Brave Star. Like, what's cooler than a robot horse who is a sidekick to a space cowboy, and the horse's tail turns into a shotgun? It was awesome. No.
This is not memorable to me at all.
Really weird.
Aiden's in here if we can hear him.
Yeah, it was
What did he say?
That it was really weird. I could hear him. Yeah. He said, that sounds really weird. But no, it was awesome. It was awesome. But yeah, no, I tried to show Ziggy GI Joes, and he goes, "Yeah, let's watch it." And then he watched about 5 minutes of the first episode. He's like, "Yeah, this is great," and then walked out and left and never came back.
Yeah, but I've been to your house. Your kids watch other people playing video games
YouTube.
on YouTube. That's what they watch.
Yeah.
And Brooke's kids used to watch. Rory used to watch grown people playing with Barbie dolls.
Yeah.
Yes, I was like, why? Just play with them yourself.
That's just kids.
Why do you got to watch other people play with them?
I will say, I feel like sometimes I'm kind of behind on things because we were on the road so much growing up. Like, we watched a lot of stuff, and we a lot of old movies, whatever. Matlock. I watched a lot of Matlock growing up, and Quantum Leap. Whatever we could get on the TVs that we were staying at. But yeah, but I will say,
Days of Our Lives.
Days of Our
Yeah, right. Yeah, all the days of our lives. Yeah.
But I don't. There's sometimes people will be talking about something, or there'll be something on. It's like, you never saw that, and I'm like, no. I think we're just behind.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that people say. Oh, I watched this as a kid. I'm like, I've never heard of that.
We were sheltered for one. That looks inappropriate. We weren't allowed to
Except
watch
for we were allowed to watch Gargoyles because
Dad
wanted to watch Gargoyles.
Dad liked it.
If Dad wanted to watch it, we got to watch it.
But we can't have Cabbage Patch dolls because demons are inside of them.
Trolls.
And trolls.
No, we did have a couple Cabbage Patch
We weren't allowed
dolls.
to watch Smurfs. I remember that.
Yeah, because the cat's name was Lucifer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
a couple
that
were like that. Yeah, there were a couple like that.
I feel like I wasn't allowed to watch Care Bears at some point.
No, we did watch Care Bears. Our cousin Kristen was obsessed with Care Bears.
At Kristen's house, we watched Care Bears.
We watched Care Bears.
I remember going to somebody's house and they had
and gummy bears.
It was like Ren and Stimpy or Cat Dog or something on, and we
we weren't allowed to. We were almost not allowed to watch hardly anything that was on Nickelodeon.
Yeah, but we started to watch it. We got so excited, and Wesley was like, "We're not allowed to watch it," and we were like,
"Oh no! Okay, I know what this is. We went to Grandma and Grandpa's, and they had on the Mickey Mouse Club, and me and Brooke were like, yes, we get to watch the Mickey Mouse Club."
That's because you guys are heathens. And
Wesley hides behind the chair and he covers his ears and he's like, "We're not allowed to watch this. We're not allowed to watch this." I wanted to
cover my ears.
Yes,
Jamie,
screaming, "We're not allowed to watch this!" Covering my ears.
You remember telling me when I was listening to a For Him CD that I was going to go to hell?
Because you're a heathen.
I remember many times Jamie mad and angry and crying because Wesley was trying to witness to her and get her to go to heaven, and you guys get a huge fight about it.
Pretty sure she's lost.
No, you are the one that used to cry because we would talk about Jesus coming into your heart.
That's a
and you would be like, "No, I don't want Jesus in my heart."
Because you thought that he was going to rip your.
Because you thought that it was like,
literal.
He literally rip your heart open and step inside. You said he's too big.
I didn't want.
We were very traumatized.
No, I thought there would be a tiny man inside my heart.
Clearly, Mom and Dad did not explain that well.
No, clearly not. There's a lot, but that's kind of my approach
with
children's now.
What is it?
With my children is you have to remember that kids take things literally.
Well, when Wes and Leland and were here, and Ziggy was like walking around being like, when I'm grown up, I'm going to be a pastor and I'm going to preach like, what was it, like 5 minutes? And Wesley, like, maybe you should know Jesus before you tell other people about Jesus.
Well, Frankie said something about we were going to church on Sunday, and she has a habit of talking very loudly in church. And she said something about, Mom, do I have to be quiet in church? And I said, yeah, you have to be very quiet. You can't talk. And she goes, why do you and Dad always whisper secrets to each other in church? And I said, that's because we don't want people to hear us. And she goes, so we can only tell secrets? I said, yeah, you can only tell secrets in church. So she came out and she told Aiden, you can't talk in church. You're going to have to just tell secrets. And you can't sleep in church either. He's like, okay.
In church either.
That's
Was
great.
it your kids that said, what Frankie was like, oh, we're going to church today. Are you ready to see Jesus? And Wilder was like, no, I want to see Batman.
No, Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
They don't go to church.
Harry Potter.
Yeah. Well, that was because at Christmas time they had a manger with a baby doll in it, and they were so excited to go see baby Jesus at church, which they actually call him Jesus all the time.
Sacrilegious at all. Well, Jesus. We'll go with Jesus.
Little baby Jesus.
Little
They're
baby
like, baby
Jesus.
Jesus. They call him Coy Boy too. So sometimes.
Coy boy.
Yeah.
Coy boy.
Yeah.
That sounds inappropriate.
Coy Boy. Coy.
His name is McCoy.
I get where it comes from. It's just a coy boy.
It's Wilder.
Okay.
She's 2.
She's pretty inappropriate.
She is actually pretty inappropriate.
She's her mother's child.
This is very
She's like, Nene's my best friend. And Frankie's like, no, Nene's my favorite old lady.
You are. They think that you're a grandma. They're always like, we have so many grandmas, and they'll name.
Yeah, when me and Mom were there at Brooke's house,
name.
Brooke babysits this little boy, and he called me Aunt Grandma the whole time. Aunt Grandma. But I don't think that's a compliment.
That's rude. That's very rude. Yeah. Wow. Well, so we're gonna have to plan on doing a takeover again.
Yeah.
We're hitting about 27 minutes, getting close to 30. So yeah, we'll have to do another episode where we do a growing up chestnut takeover of just the Carey kids.
You just have to do it. They'll just have to deal with
it. Whenever I want, I've got access to everything.
That's right.
They may regret
and
that.
Clearly,
later.
they don't know how to get on
yeah.
here.
Do what now?
They said, and clearly they don't know how to get on here.
Right.
Yeah, they don't know how to get on.
So now, well, we'll end it at that, and then yeah, we'll see if we can do something with Mom later on. But until then, we'll see y'all later.
Bye.